Guys, my wife just asked me why I don't even listen to her. Guys, I think you've got an answer to that. We are in this mess because Adam listened to his wife, Eve. And I don't want to repeat the same mistake. No. All men sinned because Adam listened to his wife. Now should I listen to my wife? Do you support me listening to my wife? Do you want the next generation to be cursed because I listen to my wife? No, guys, no, spare me.
Hey ladies, what's going on? Today we are going to talk about all of these men out here saying that they were blindsided by these women divorcing them. 9 times out of 10, when a man is going through a divorce, he will say that he was blindsided, even if the woman voiced what she needed from him for years, for decades, if she cried, all of that. Usually when a woman files for a divorce, she has been neglected, abused, and just ignored for 2 to 3 years or more. Women don't just give up and walk out on good men. They usually have a reason or a plethora of reasons before they get a divorce, and some will stay until the kids are grown because the man is so unfit and so abusive that she doesn't want to have to split custody with him and leave her kids alone with him and put them in danger. So a lot of women plan it out until their kids are grown. They save up their money until their kids are grown because of the abusive man. But let's get into these men saying that they were blindsided, and these women also telling their stories about their blindsided husbands. And I will talk to you ladies later. Bye.
Hey everyone, this is the Curious One coming to y'all with another video topic. What's up y'all? What's good? Hey, ladies, I got a scenario for you, right? Picture yourself in this situation and how would you handle it? Let's say you've been married for 5 to 10 years and in your eyes, the relationship is good. It's going well. You guys are in love. You guys have a family. You're building a legacy and everything like that. And then out of the blue, your husband wakes up one morning and says he wants a divorce. And you didn't see any red flags. You didn't see nothing that would make you think that this man would want a divorce. And he just wakes up all of a sudden and says he wants a divorce. And I want to ask you ladies, do you think that man's heart was really, truly 100% into that marriage? That you could just wake up and say, I want a divorce? Really?
When a man says he was blindsided by his divorce, my perspective typically is that his partner was likely quiet quitting their marriage for a long time. We often hear about how women initiate most divorces in heteronormative relationships, and that men can feel really blindsided by the request for a divorce. And what I think has happened in many marriages over a long period of time is that after lots of discourse, specifically about the same thing over and over, and a lack of meaningful change, the woman tends to decide to stop engaging. No longer will she be emotional. No longer will she be asking for more from her partner. No longer will she be looking to them for any sort of meaningful partnership because she's tried, right? Oftentimes we hear about how women are so emotional and they're never satisfied and nobody's happy if mom's not happy, and that they're basically always asking for more from their partners. They're saying, great, you helped me do the dishes, but now can you do it right? Great, you provided me emotional support one time, but can you make sure to be an emotional support partner to me over the course of our marriage? And I think what happens from the male side is typically they are defensive. Men tend to be defensive when their partners come to them asking for any sort of change or engagement level that they're not comfortable with. Not only are they defensive, but sometimes instead of being defensive, they just appease their partner. They say like, yes, I will do that. Yes, I will change. Yes, I love you and I want to do better for you. And then they don't do that. And so after going through that cycle enough times, asking and being met with a yes, but no action, or asking and being met with defensiveness, asking and being dismissed, many women are saying, I'm going to protect myself. I want to protect my emotions. I'm going to protect my time. They might remain in that marriage for an extended period of time. There might be no fighting. And that's typically what men will say, like, we weren't fighting. Nobody was angry. There was nothing going on. Like, there was no big catalyst for this. And that's usually true. There was no big catalyst. It was just a bunch of little things that added up over time. And she got to a point where she decided, I'm no longer going to pour myself into this. I am now going to protect myself, and I'm going to bide my time, essentially quiet quit, until there's an appropriate point where I can actually leave. And I'm not advocating for this by any means. I personally think communication and counseling and things like that are very, very important. But I do think that's a big part of this narrative of being blindsided by divorce. They were blindsided because their partner had no longer been engaging with them in the way they had been historically. And so they seemed happy. But typically somebody doesn't just become more laid back or care less about something when there's been no actual meaningful change. It's not like they just stopped caring about that thing. They've likely just stopped looking to their partner as a safe person to engage with, and not really a partner at all.
There's a quote in there which says, marriage is the world's most impossible endurance challenge.
Yep.
And people who they like each other fine, not all the people in this article do, but they're kind of like, I'm just done with pretending that I want to watch your TV shows and I want to listen to you talking about golf or whatever it is.
Maybe that's not entirely new. She writes about remembering as a kid, there was a year where her mother didn't speak to her father. And then he turned around one day and said, is there a problem?
I love that so much. Is there a problem?
It literally took him
He probably
a year.
didn't even say it in a passive-aggressive way. He was like, oh, is there a problem?
I feel like I haven't heard from you lately. But what was interesting to me is over and over again in that conversation, she kept saying men need to understand that to avoid an expensive divorce, they need to X, Y, Z. And I think that that's a large part of this is very often men are blindsided in midlife. They haven't really noticed that their partner is kind of
Totally
re-looking at
checked out.
everything. And I think that men also quiet quit their marriages all the time.
Right. Me too.
Overwhelmingly, the guys that come into our office for us to represent them in a divorce case will say to us they've been blindsided when their wife files for divorce. And so if you wonder why I'm doing so many pieces on why women file, what they're seeing, why they believe there's a problem with the relationship, why the relationship failed, why they want a divorce, that's why I'm doing those pieces. Because we as guys are just not, we're not seeing it. We're not getting it. I don't know if we're just not tuned in enough, or if we're just ignoring it, but I want to tell guys, this is why women are filing for divorce. So that you don't come into my office and say, oh my God, I was blindsided, I had no idea, how was the relationship? You gotta be in it, man. You gotta be observant while you're in it.
Let's keep it real, y'all. Men are not blindsided by divorce. I don't know why dudes be getting up on here acting like, oh my goodness, they just didn't know he was a good man and she just left him out of... That's some BS, bro. It's been many a times where that woman done says she need you to step up and you say okay and you don't do it. She tell you to step up again. She tell you to step up again. You say okay, don't do it. Stop lying. You ain't blindsided by nothing. These women be expressing their feelings all the time of what they need for you to do. They concerns, what's going on. And yet, you're not being man enough for them. So guess what? You get divorced, she get quiet. Now she not even talking. You know that divorce coming. Men ain't blindsided by it. Can we stop lying? Stop lying. That's why I don't even listen to men and they sob stories. Oh my God, well, I was doing all this and I was doing all that. No, you wasn't. Because if you was, she would have never kept telling you that you need to step up. And that's usually what happens, right? She tell you the same thing over and over and over again. You say you're going to make some adjustments. You say you're going to do it. And you let her down every time by not being a man of your goddamn word. So miss me with this nonsense that y'all out here blindsided by divorce. Nah, bro. She gone because you didn't do what you were supposed to do to keep that woman. Which is the case 9 times out of 10. So miss me with this nonsense. Men be blindsided by divorce. Shut up.
This is a pretty crazy fact. I asked ChatGPT why women file divorce at such a higher rate than men, and it said unmet emotional needs. unequal household and emotional labor, more financial independence, and women tend to have higher expectations in a relationship.
It is very funny to me that straight men don't seem to realise that the consequences of not stepping up around the house when you have been asked to are that you don't get to have a wife anymore. Around 70% of divorces of straight couples are initiated by women, and that is because we get sick of men's refusal to do their share of the domestic and caring load, and we realise that we can be happier and do less work single. Men are often blindsided by divorce, and that is because they don't seem to understand what it means when we are telling them that we need them to do more of the housework, more of the childcare, and that they need to take end-to-end ownership of specific domestic tasks without being asked. Women tell them this, but they can still think that there won't be any real consequences to them not doing it. Men are scaffolded by a patriarchal system that shields them from the consequences of their own actions always. From rarely being punished for sexual assault, to being promoted in the workplace over women even when they are incompetent, to believing that they still get to have a wife even when they have let that wife get buried under domestic duties that she has asked for help with. That's why they're so shocked when women divorce them. They don't realise that in their inaction they have been showing us that they don't care if we're miserable, and they don't realise that there are consequences to that because there have so rarely been consequences for their bad behaviour. But when men don't pull their weight, women leave them, and that might make them miserable, but we're happier. And I would suggest that we make men aware of this, but that would just be making women do more work again.
I watched this video the other day from a man that said he was completely blindsided by his divorce. And then I listened in on him and I said, let's see why.
I did not know my daughter's pediatrician's name before I found out I was getting divorced. They basically went to the doctor when I was at the office during the week. And so my ex handled that. What I did know is I spent 5 hours teaching each of my daughters how to ride a bike on a Saturday.
He went on to explain about how many hours he worked per week, that he was working like 60 hours a week. And the only time that he had left with his kids was basically on the weekends. Each kid, he spent about 5 hours training them on how to ride their bike. Okay, so essentially what he said there was his kids had no idea who he was. So how the hell would he know who the pediatrician was? Listen, being an involved father doesn't necessarily just mean that, oh, you just kind of just show up for all those manly things, like help him ride a bike, help him change a tire. It means a lot of the little small things too, like teaching them how to take dishes out of the dishwasher. Knowing where the pediatrician is very nice to know, especially since they're your kids. If there's an emergency and you need to take them somewhere, there's a little section on the ER form that actually says, who is your child's doctor? And if you don't know, you got a problem. Full disclosure, I think my wife is amazing. My wife has never taken my kid in the last 2 years to the pediatrician. Not her fault. She's been having to go to work. So I take the time and I take my kids to the pediatrician. There's more to being a man than just providing a check. Because if all you're doing is providing the check, then you're just a provider. Remember, wives need more than just somebody that brings home the bacon, so to speak. Here's an easy way to think of it. How can you lead a home that you have no idea how it operates? How do you lead a wife or family? You don't know who they are. How do you expect people to follow you if you can't lead by example? How do you want your wife to call you the head of the household if the head's never there? The head doesn't know where to lead. The head can't tell her where to go because he doesn't know. It's more than just bringing home the bacon.
Some questions about your son. Yep. Answer them as best you can. You're going to tell us if your dad was correct, okay? All right, first question. When is your son's birthday?
It is the 21st of July, 2008.
True?
No.
How old is your child?
He is 29, 28.
27.
Does your son have any allergies?
Not that I know of. You do?
Penicillin.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
What are your daughter's middle names?
We got Giovanna Louise Wilson. How we got? Evelina Louise Wilson and Giovanna. Oh, I don't know. Off the top of my head.
Can you name your son's girlfriend?
Bianca? No.
Brielle?
No.
Brianna?
No.
Bobby, Bianca, Brielle? No, I said that.
I don't know anyone by any of those names.
Oh, okay. Brenna.
Sound familiar?
No.
What is your daughter's favorite band?
Fish.
Yeah.
For real?
Go.
How many of your daughter's teachers can you name?
None.
Okay.
How many members of the band Fish can you name?
Trey Anastasio, Paige McConnell, John Fishman, and Mike Gordon. And their lighted guy is Chris Caruta. He's the 5th member of Fish.
Why, just one more time. Can we get your son's girlfriend's name?
Oh, I have no clue. Brielle? No.
He just told you 2 minutes ago.
I know. Brianna?
No.
Brielle? No.
No. He took them 5 times. Brenna?
Brenna, okay, Brenna.
How old is your son?
Late 20s.
What is your son's fiance's last name?
Oh, it's going to be Gomez, but...
Yeah, but that's what it is right now.
I don't know.
Your son and his fiance, do they have a wedding date?
Yes.
What is it?
October 31st.
Are you getting married on Halloween?
No.
Can we get your wife in here to see if she does any better? When is your son's birthday?
August 23rd.
What's the name of your son's fiance?
Hernandez. Ariel Hernandez.
When is your son going to get married?
October 24th, 2025.
Can you name any of your son's teachers from when he was in school?
2nd grade, I think, was Miss Burns. Several in high school. Mr. Green, O'Byrne, Dees.
Yeah, I think that's enough.
All right, before I let you go one more time. What is your son's girlfriend's name?
Why do women file for divorce more than men? To the tune of 60+%. Many think it's because women just want the easy way out. But here's the reality. Most women that file for divorce spend many, many months, sometimes years, pontificating as to whether or not they're ready for divorce or if it's the right choice for them. So believe me, it's never the easy way out.
Just because he pays bills doesn't make him a good man. He's just a provider. A good man doesn't entertain other women. A good man doesn't put you down for him providing for you. A good man doesn't physically or mentally abuse his partner. A good man will respect you in your presence and most importantly in your absence. There are good men out there that do provide and respect their partner. Don't settle.
Because you will tell a guy 50 times, like, hey, I am unhappy and if something doesn't change, then I'm gonna leave. Then you'll tell him the exact reason why you're unhappy and give him the tools to fix the situation. He will not. You will leave. And then he's sitting there like, blindsided much? Like, I did not see that coming at all. You gave me no warning. And you're just like, what is going on?
I wanted to give you one of the key reasons that I found in my research on why it is that some fathers, after they separate or divorce, they lose contact with their children. And that reason is that many men, after they get divorced or separated, do not understand and did not recognize how much of their life was basically set up, run, managed, maintained, renewed, and upkept by women in their lives, vis-a-vis either their mother, their sister, or their spouse, wife, girlfriend, that kind of thing. So, as many of you will know, I am a qualified psychotherapist and counselor, and I have a private practice where I only see boys and men. And I speak to and see a lot of men who are either going through divorce, have already divorced, or are thinking about divorcing. And one of the things that is absolutely fascinating for me is how much I have to, whenever men come into my therapy room and we're going through the reasons why they think led up to the divorce, how many of these men say, I have no idea. The divorce came out of nowhere, Kasim. I did not foresee it. And I will say something like, are you saying to me your wife or your spouse or your ex-girlfriend at no point ever gave you any clues as to why, any indicators that things were going bad. And they usually say something like, well, I knew it was bad, Cass, but I didn't think it was that bad or something like that. And the reason why I'm saying this is that many women try to articulate to men the things that they're struggling with. So they'll say things like, can you help me with the babysitting? Can you help me put the child to bed? But the men don't see that as indicators of their lack of engagement and their need to support their partner. They just see it as a nuisance. They just see it as they're doing their role and they don't want to do other things. And so what ends up happening is that when men get divorced, because so much of their lives, their diaries, the babysitting, the nappies, the shopping, the cooking, the washing, the buying the detergent, because so much of that has either been run by their mother. So before they got married or moved in with their girlfriend, that was already done by their mum. And then as soon as they moved out from their mum's house, they moved straight in with their partner. They don't realize that a lot of their stuff has already been done by their spouses, and they're shocked. And the reality is, and this is what I find, is a lot of men basically can't handle it. They cannot handle the residual of the divorce. They get thrown off. They literally are having to build so many structures on so many levels, their health, their friendships, their relationships. A lot of men who get divorced, when they go to their divorce lawyers, they don't even know what their children's birth certificate is.
The reason why ending no-fault divorce is a good thing. So some of you pointed out that it was put in to make it cheaper and easier to leave a marriage. This is true from the person who wants the divorce, and it is untrue from the person who doesn't want the divorce. So generally, no-fault divorce, which is 90% of divorces, means there was no legitimate reason other than they're just unhappy instead of working things out, which kind of destroys what marriage is. Marriage is supposed to be good times and bad times, sickness, health, till death do you part. And then on top of that, the reason why it was really expensive before, it was really, really, really hard to prove infidelity. It was really hard to prove abuse, but everyone has a camera in their pocket now. It's not hard to prove anymore. Not to mention, you can still walk away from marriage if you want to, without a fault. You just don't get alimony and money out of it. So it better be worth it. Just saying.
Why do women file for divorce more than men do? I think it's in large part because men don't confront the situation. They disengage. So, you're going to work every day, you're coming home, there's no sex life, there's no intimacy, there's no contact with your wife. She maybe is doing all of the taking care of the kids and all the stuff around the house, and, you're just living your little life on your own little island as a guy, right? And not seeing all these other things that are going on around you. So I think probably in large part, we're just oblivious to a lot of the things that women are really in tune with.
Men tend to forget that women typically are emotionally wired or more emotionally wired.
Yeah.
And so what happens is when she comes to you and expresses a concern, if that concern does not line up in your head logically, men tend to dismiss it. Okay?
Facts.
And they don't consider how she's feeling. And I want men to understand, you have to learn that we have to accept men and women are different. We are just built differently, and in understanding our differences, we can create more harmony with each other. When that woman says to you, this is how I feel, it's not about your logic at that point, bruh. It's about how she feels. All right? And you got to tap into that in that moment. And if you say, well, how do I know she's not lying? Listen, if she's a good woman otherwise, then there's no reason to assume it's a lie right now. All right? If you know she has not been a problem for you, then don't project that negativity on her. So many women feel dismissed and devalued because as men, again, we keep focusing on logic, but they're talking about their emotion, what they're feeling. And that's real. It may not be real to you in that moment, but that danger or her uncomfortableness in that moment is real to her. So you have to meet her there.
I'm going to ask you some very basic questions about your girlfriend.
Okay.
Just answer them to the best of your ability, and then you can tell us whether he was right or wrong.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
All right, first question. When is your girlfriend's birthday?
Her birthday is a couple months ago. It's in, I do know this. November. It's in December. October.
Yeah.
October.
October what?
October 20th.
No.
22nd.
No.
19th?
No, it's October 29th.
What are the names of your girlfriend's parents?
Is it Stuart? Is that where you get your middle name?
No.
Christopher?
No.
Jonathan?
I don't think you know this.
Oh.
Do you know his parents' names?
Pamela and Archie, right? What's his name?
That is right.
Close your eyes.
Okay.
What color are your girlfriend's eyes?
They're like blue-green.
Dude, really?
What is your girlfriend's middle name?
That's a good question. Anne Marie.
Not even close. It's Lynn. I'm upset.
Does your wife have any allergies?
Unknown. Could potentially have hay fever. We don't know.
Penicillin is like actually kind of deadly to me, so he should probably know that.
What is your girlfriend's favorite movie?
Pocahontas.
The confidence was nice, though. That was good.
What is your wife's favorite meal?
Meal?
That's a hard one.
No, it's not.
Sushi.
Beer and pizza.
Oh, it changes.
I have a tattoo of it.
What's the name of your girlfriend's boss?
Her boss's name? Irene?
Not true.
What's your boss's name?
Oh my God, Sarah.
Okay. She looked like Irene.
What are the names of your wife's grandparents?
Ooh. Boy, that's been a long time ago. I don't remember.
Should he know the names of your grandparents?
Yes.
Can you name his grandparents?
Perky, Ray, Aline, and Lee.
What are the names of her siblings?
She only has one, and green part there.
You better answer it.
I know. I better. She's gonna be really mad at me because we were just down there over Christmas too.
Okay. Sue.
Sue and Danny.
What song did you do your first dance to at your wedding?
I have no idea.
And when did you get married?
March 26th. December 26th.
Of the two of you, who is the more generous lover?
Me.
Is that true?
No!
Wife threatens divorce constantly. No shit, by the time your wife is starting to threaten divorce, the first time, she's already thought about leaving you for years, average 5. So now that you have the knowledge, what are you going to do with it? Catherine would say, I'd be crazy to leave this man, and I emotionally, physically, and sexually hurt my wife. If she'd be crazy to leave me now, after years ago having to protect herself with a restraining order and assault charges, why does your wife have to keep repeating that she wants a divorce? No woman is leaving such an awesome, incredible man. What are you missing?
Women are plotting an exit strategy, so men get blindsided with this, bro.
I think that women who blindside someone with a divorce and it's not a conversation of I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy. You're not, meeting X, Y, or Z needs. I feel like you're not communicating with me. Maybe there's infidelity involved. Yeah. Then I think that if she doesn't talk about any of that, and then just suddenly
no, she can talk about all of that, but it's still blindside. Here's the thing. Here's the problem with this, right? Is like you seem to want to take human nature out of the human aspect here. If you know that you're going to leave your significant other, right? Are you going to try to leverage it so that they have the best chance for custody and they have the best chance for financial security? Or are you going to leverage things the best possible way for yourself?
No, actually the first one. And that's what my dad did in the divorce from my stepmom.
Your dad, yes.
I think it was a really
rational, reasonable man. Yes.
I think it was a very good thing of him to do. He didn't leave my stepmom completely
that was awful
tarnished.
Good of him. But do you agree with me that within human nature, if you know that you're going to exit, you know that you're leaving, right? Just like with a job, aren't you going to try to make
job is different.
Aren't you going to try to make the best conditionals possible for the exit? So that you're as financially set as possible.
Putting in your 2 weeks is not the same thing as signing divorce papers.
No, it's not putting in 2 weeks. Here's what you do when you change a job. You don't put in your 2 weeks.
Whatever, you quit.
You've already arranged a job for 6 fucking months before you ever put in your 2 weeks.
It's still not the same because you don't have obligations to that individual who you're working for in terms
Why Oh,
of
don't
emotional
you? Yes,
security.
Of course you have
Wait,
obligations to them.
You can quit a job.
Yeah,
It's
I
fine
know,
to
but
quit a
you still
job.
you can quit a marriage, but you still made a fucking agreement like you did with your job.
Sure, and I think people in marriages have a responsibility to care for the other person.
They have a duty?
In a way.
They have a
in way-
duty?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think everyone has a duty. I just don't think the duties are gender specific.
Oh, they're not?
No, I don't think they are.
They're not. Okay.
No.
So let's, I guess we can dive into that next. This is fucking hilarious.
An unpopular opinion that I just have to say. Paying the bills isn't enough. Providing food on the table, lights on, is not enough. Anything you have to do, regardless of having a significant other, family, it's just not enough. It's the bare minimum. Everyone hates that word. It makes it, it discredits what you're doing, but you don't get credit for surviving. You don't get credit for that. What you do get credit for is going above and beyond for your family. What you get credit for is providing peace. A life where there's no worry of anything. Like, I'm not even talking about finances. I'm talking about love. I'm talking about unconditional love. I'm talking about cooking, cleaning together. It's not about one person doing it all. I'm not saying that the man needs to do all of it. No, absolutely not. What I'm saying is, as a man, as a protector, as a provider, that includes cooking, cleaning, and spending time with the kids. That includes bath time, shower time, brushing the teeth. It includes being involved in every aspect of your family's life. But what happens is we see our parents,
typically men don't leave. They're getting left.
But why she leave you though? Because at the end, then your pride kicks in. But why did this kick in to fix your relationship when she gave you that many chances to do so?
When we get into this conversation, we always assume that the woman did that. And sometimes a woman is just as poor in communicating their needs and wants as you are. I'm telling you, there are a lot of men that are caught off guard by breakups. You did not see that thing coming because issues were not brought up.
I thought we was good.
I thought we was good because what a lot of women will choose to do is start emotionally detaching.
Did you not pursue the conversations? Because women, even if a woman does not express her needs to you, it's in her behaviors. It's in the little small changes. So you as the leader of that relationship, did you take the time on an emotional level to say, hey, baby, let's check in today. Let's talk today. Hey, baby, let's start talking on Sundays after church. Did you take that initiative or did you just go with the flow and be passive?
Okay, let's put it out there. So let's pretend there's another reason to explain somebody's disattachment. Let's pretend maybe it's health. Maybe it's something that could come up that would explain to you why they may feel depressed there. There's certain things that can mask the true reason.
The side mission is not coming to the surface.
And so then it takes that person that's withdrawing to also be honest too. Because a lot of times, because they're as much of an avoidant as you are, they lie and they say that everything is okay. And so and then too, it's never in a season where you're not busy. So then now you're really busy, you got a lot of things going on, and then you're trusting your partner to actually be honest about what the is going on. And so when that doesn't happen, sometimes it's hard for men. I think even deep in relationships, we're expected to be mind readers. And
Wait, the way you said something so good.
Go.
You said even in that moment, you're trusting your partner to be honest about their emotions. As adults, why do you not have a right to trust your partner to be honest? Why does she have to trust you to code her behavior? Why does she have to trust you to be so in tune with her that you see every movement and you can read it? Hold on, I think that's totally unfair for women to say men should and need to do that.
Because if she was honest, maybe we could have fixed it. Listen, if I told him my problem, maybe he'd fix it. But if I've made it up in my heart that I do not want to be here, why give him the opportunity to fix it? What I want to happen, though, I want my breakup to be as easy as possible on me as possible. So what I want him to do is to continue to fuck up. And I do not want to course correct because I need him to continue to do these things that's irritating me so that I can have the strength to walk away eventually.
When is her birthday?
July, 21st? No?
How do you not know her birthday?
July 20 what?
29.
July 29th.
Oh,
That's
my
right.
goodness.
I'm so sorry.
What are the names of her siblings?
Andrew and, dude, man, this is actually kind of embarrassing, huh?
What's her middle name?
It's something,
It's my grandparents.
yeah, it's an old-timey name. It's gonna be another embarrassing past.
Where did she go to college?
SFU.
SF State.
SF State.
What is her current job title at work?
That's a great question. She works from home. You're a data...
No.
No. A loan person?
No.
Internal IT, maybe?
No.
What do you do?
System support analyst too.
Which is what I said.
Has she ever played a sport?
It doesn't appear so. Just because you're unathletic.
Do you know where she went to school?
At Dothan High in Dothan, Alabama.
No. What is her boss's name?
Her boss, Ken. Ken.
How old is she?
She's 55.
I had a birthday. I'm 56. What is her middle name?
It starts with an S. It's got to be Sharia or something.
Hey guys, here's something else you can do to really love and bless your wife and really ground that marriage and lock it down. Don't ignore her. When she's telling you something, she may have to tell you 10 times. But man, at some point, we've got to listen to what she's saying. Women in the relationship are the thermometer. They can tell you the temperature of that relationship, but men, we're the thermostat. If we listen to our wives and really listen, we can be the change agents that our marriages need. So do not ignore your wife.
I think guys, the ones that I've worked with, a lot of them are just so devastated by the divorce process. And then when they see, somebody like me, the divorce lawyer, explaining how we got to the point where their wife asked for a divorce, or they said, this is the last straw, I have to leave. They think 2 + 2 = 4. The divorce lawyer told them that they should get out of their marriage, and that's the reason it's a divorce lawyer. But the reality is, we don't listen enough. The signals are there, they're being sent. My advice is, ladies, if there's something that you're missing from the relationship, be vocal about it. And guys too, and guys listen. I don't want you in the divorce process. That's the point. And I know it's gonna sound like I'm bashing guys, but I'm not. I just want you to listen. See the signs, focus on it. You don't wanna leave your family. You don't want your wife to walk out. You don't wanna be without your kids. So, listen to me and listen to them.
Every man that says he was blindsided by divorce, there's a woman who spent months, maybe years, crying in silence, begging with her voice, shutting down whenever she got tired of repeating herself, and slowly detaching as her love fell on deaf ears. She didn't wake up one day and just decide to leave. She tried again and again. She told you what was wrong. She explained how she felt. She asked you for more while all she was wanting was effort, for your time, for you to be present, for the connection. And at some point, there's only so many times someone can ask over and over again, all while getting their spirit broken by the one person they love. Us as men, what we typically hear, I'm not happy. We take that as a complaint. But for most women, that sentence comes after the mental and the emotional weight carrying the relationship alone. But by the time she files those papers, she's been gone emotionally for a long time. And that paperwork, that's just the final step. That's the part where she finally chooses herself. That's when she walks out the door and never turns back.
My mouth is when you constantly tell him how unhappy you are in the relationship, and the second you leave, he acts like the victim.
Because no matter what happens, you're always unhappy in the relationship. No matter what happens, you're always unhappy in the relationship. You create these terms like bare minimum. The bare minimum is just whatever we're not doing that you're bitching about. And the minute that we do that, you bitch about something else, and then that's the bare minimum. There's just always a bare minimum. There's always a reason for you to be happy. And the better that we are, the more you just complain. And then what happens is that gives you a false understanding, a false fucking concept of confidence. And you start to think that you're right. Because everything you do, we just agree and we agree and we comply. We agree and we comply. And we agree and we comply. And that happens all the time, over and over and over and over again. And then you just start to think that you're always fucking right. When in reality, we're just so tired of fucking arguing with you, we do what you fucking say. So that's why. That's why.
Has anybody else's wife told them something and then they hear something from like their friend and then you go back and tell your wife and she's just like, I fucking told you this like 2 weeks ago. Like she's always right. And like you might hear it when she says it, but it doesn't fucking calculate. And then you come back thinking that you have all this new information, you know, about anything, but you hear it from somebody else. So you come back like all excited, like, oh, I'm going to tell my wife this shit. And she's just like, are you fucking dumb? Like, I've heard this shit before. Guess who told you? I told you. And then she goes, well, you didn't believe me when I told you, but all of a sudden everybody else says it, and now you believe me? The look on her face when I'm coming to tell her this information is like she already fucking knows what I'm gonna say. Like, her discernment is above everybody. It's actually true. When she fucking said something, just fucking listen to what she says and take it for at face value. I've learned this over the last 8 years that, like, if my wife tells me something, then that's all I need to know. She's right. And everybody else just knows it secondhand because she can tell before anybody can tell. Comment below if you've had this experience. Thanks for watching.
I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say that you're single. But you know what? Let me just say that I had this mentality too before I was married. I had the same mentality. I'm like, why would one person be always right? You know, because you always hear that quote. You always hear that thing. And when you're young and inexperienced, you don't know. So you're just like, why would one person be right? There's no way. Like, I'm a man. Ain't nobody gonna be right to me. Man, stop that nonsense. And people misconstrue people saying things like my wife is always right with I'm weak, or I can't handle things, or I don't want to handle things. You know, I'm going to address another comment that I won't tag in this video. The person was saying like, oh, I need a man who's like dependent and strong and like knows how to do things. Okay, well, I think my wife is always right, and I say yes to her for everything, but I still poured 2,000 pounds of concrete the other day in my house. I'm still building fences. I built some gutters. I do my own lawns. I do the plumbing downstairs. So am I man enough now? Like, what exactly is your definition of it? Is it the time that I choked out a dog, a pit bull the other day that came into my yard because he came to it? No, I didn't do that. That would be wild though. That would be some man.
He's not gonna change for you. I'm a guy, let me tell you the truth with what this is. A man is only gonna change for a woman he wants to change for. It's really that black and white when it comes to men. They're either immature or don't want you, or maybe a combination of both. A man knows within the first 4 to 6 minutes of meeting a woman if she's one that he could fall in love with eventually. That quick. So if he's not mature enough to realize that, he's going to be playing games. Or on the other side of it, he's playing games because he doesn't want you, and he's not a good person, and he doesn't deserve your heart. If you have a question whether or not someone should be doing something in a relationship, all you got to think of is if you had metaphorical kids, would you be okay with your kids dating someone and that person treating your child the way they're treating you? That's a question only you can answer. Hope this helps.
Majority of marriages, the women are expected to probably bring home some money, take care of the kids, the household, the cooking, the cleaning. And we are supposed to be grateful just that our husband pays the bills and provides a roof over our head. We could do that without you. And you have to do that without us in the house. So why are we grateful that you do the bare minimum? And again, I realize not all men are like this. I know there's some really amazing husbands out there and fathers and providers. But there are a lot that do the minimum and expect us to just be grateful.
The fact that so many men in long-term heteronormative relationships are blindsided when their partner ends the relationship, ends the marriage, is baffling, not just to the women who've been telling their partners how lonely, emotionally distanced, and unfulfilled they felt in the relationship, but to the men who wonder, how could I not have seen this coming? How could I have been so in the dark? This pattern leads many women to wonder and ask their partners, as I asked my ex-husband, how could you not see nor seemingly care that I was suffering when I was directly telling you I was? One of the contributing factors is the dismissal of grief and a misunderstanding about it. My ex-husband said to me, I think I would have heard you if you'd been crying when you were talking to me, which is interesting because I hear women saying, why do I have to get to the point where I'm crying before my partner responds to what's upsetting me? I'll share something valuable I learned from grief expert David Kessler, who defines grief as reflection on connection that's been lost. For starters, doesn't that definition help explain why for so many of us who feel too much distance for too long from our partners, why we move into preemptive grieving for the loss of the relationship before we're even ready to give ourselves permission to leave. And David Kessler says this: grief is what occurs on the inside. Mourning is what we do on the outside. So whether your partner is or isn't crying, that external display, that's not an indicator of how much grief, how much loss, how much emotional suffering they're experiencing on the inside. As well, some of us were conditioned early in life to hold back from sharing that external display of grief. Maybe we received messages from our primary caregivers that they were uncomfortable with our sadness. Maybe they dismissed it. Maybe they didn't tune in or respond to it. And so we have difficulty trusting that we'll receive care if we cry. So to take this back to the men feeling blindsided, yeah, you will feel blindsided if you continue to dismiss your partner's grief. Their expression, which by the way takes a lot of courage, of the sadness over the loss of connection between the two of you. And maybe for a while, they'll try to follow suit and turn their back on their own grief to suppress it, but it doesn't go away.
Men who get divorced, their risk of suicide skyrockets. So the question is like, why? And I think it is because of this sense of like not being needed, because marriage, being with the kids and kind of with the mum is just an incredibly important way for men to feel needed, connected, involved, etc. Wifeless men, partnerless men, childless men, they don't do so well. In fact, they do terribly.
When you're a man that goes through a divorce or a breakup, especially if you look like me, the first year, it's always your fault. Like, no matter what she did, bruh, society gonna say it's your fault. Social media gonna say it's your fault. Your family gonna say it's your fault. You didn't fight for your family. And the main thing that good men such as myself have to do is have to be quiet and endure all of the lies, endure all of the shame, endure all the people looking at you crazy, and let the truth play out a year and a half later. Then y'all finally get the truth, and you like, oh, I didn't know she was this, or that was this going on, and that was going on. And then you wonder why don't nobody deal with y'all ass no more. So I'm looking at this Papoose Remy situation, and I feel away because it's like, you have to understand, it's a lot of good men out here get taken advantage of by sorry women. And we know she a sorry woman. I'm not saying it because I know her. I'm saying it because her actions reflect what a sorry woman would do, what a man is trying to hold you down, that held you down while you was in jail. And this man has been quiet about whatever allegations, whatever it is you got going on. And here it is a year later, he airing you out. And it's like, bro, if you would just leave people alone, like, stop trying to play victim when you over here poking bears. Just let people move on in peace, bro. And won't nobody come for you. Won't nobody come for you. None of the stuff I said on social media about my situation, you know what I'm saying, would have ever came out if you would have just been cordial and moved on with your life. And you got so many women out here, bro, that want to play victim while they're actually the villain, and they're out here doing all of the wild stuff and doing all the stuff that they're accusing you of doing, and then we just sitting back and watching. We sitting back and watching everybody that agree with you. And guess what? Everybody that agree with you, we cutting them off. That's why I have so much peace in my life going into 2025. I'm not entertaining people that have gossiping spirits anymore. If you believe that side, stay over there. If you rocking with me, don't entertain over there. Ain't no in between, bruh, because some of these women are looking for information and access to you to continue to bring you down to a low vibration. And I'm not having it no more. That's it. That's the post.
Never trust a man who's nice. Seriously. It's one of the biggest traps you can fall into. Because a nice man doesn't actually want connection. He wants your approval. And to get that approval, he will agree with everything that you say, tiptoe around hard conversations, and smile through shit that actually bothers him, even if it means lying or suppressing how he really feels. Sounds harmless, right? But nice men can be some of the most emotionally dangerous men out there. They'll compliment you constantly, tell you how amazing you are, act overly sweet, and do anything to make you like them. But underneath it all, there is always an agenda. He's not being nice because it's who he is. He's performing because he wants something in return. Whether that be validation, attention, sex, control, or admiration. And when he doesn't get it, the mask slips real quick. Because niceness doesn't come from strength or confidence. It comes from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of disapproval, fear of not being liked, or fear of not being anything other than perfect. And when a man operates from fear, You don't get authenticity. You get a version of them that is carefully curated to win you over. Until it doesn't work anymore. That's when nice turns into manipulative, passive-aggressive, or flat-out toxic. And the worst part, you never saw it coming because you were too focused on how nice he seemed. And that's the danger of niceness. It's not who he is. It's who he thinks you want him to be.
So guys who claim they are a good guy or a good boyfriend are often the most manipulative. So you hear it all the time. Guys are always saying, oh, I'm a good bloke, I'm a decent boyfriend to their partner or the girl they're seeing. And they're usually saying it in the context of their bad behavior. Maybe they've been caught lying or cheating or acting disrespectfully online. Maybe they've got a disgusting temper and they're always causing arguments. And then it comes back to, yeah, I'm sorry about all that, but I'm a decent boyfriend. I would never cheat on you. You know, I do this, I do that, I take you out for dinner. That's all the bare minimum, right? Those are requirements for any decent relationship. Any man and any woman needs that respect. They can trust their partner. And if he thinks it's even okay to bring that up in the context of, yeah, but this outweighs all the bad stuff, then he doesn't really respect you, doesn't see your requirements overall, doesn't know how to respect a woman or have a relationship in general. And ultimately, he's often likely to be lying about the stuff like not cheating on you anyway, because somebody who cares about you so little and makes so little effort, because his general conduct shows he's a selfish person, and that's what selfish people do. Whatever they want. Peace.
Self-proclaimed good guys are not actually good. They're the exact opposite. If a man has to convince you by his words that he's a good man, chances are he's probably not. Good men they're action driven. They're not out here saying that they're a good man. You'll know when a man is a good man by his actions. And one of the main issues with a lot of self-proclaimed good guys or nice guys is that they think they're good men because they're not out here being abusive. They're not out here physically hurting women. They're not screaming, throwing plates, throwing tantrums or any of that stuff. So they think that makes them a good man. But in all reality, they tend to overlook the quiet things that also matter. The random disappearing, the ghosting, leading a woman on. A failure to communicate while still expecting you to be available whenever they do decide to pop back in. That's not good man behavior. They'll call themselves a good man while ghosting a woman who they swore they cared about. They'll call themselves a good man while leading a woman on, stringing her along with intimacy, knowing damn well he wants nothing serious with her. That's not a good man. Once again, that's being manipulative. Dr. Craig Melkin, who's a well-known psychologist and an author, wrote a book called Rethinking Narcissism, and in there he explains what covert narcissism tends to look like. And a lot of men who claim to be good men in reality are just covert narcissists. A man who's a covert narcissist has the ability to come off as subtle, polite, socially acceptable. He may not be loud, he may not be boastful, he may not even brag too much, but he centers himself quietly and politely through emotional detachment, boundary pushing, and guilt tripping. And that is the epitome of covert narcissism. Being a good man is not just about not being violent. It's also about holding yourself accountable, being present, being honest, and being willing to self-reflect. It's not about what you don't do. It's about how you show up consistently and clearly. A lot of women are often quick to excuse the man who is a covert narcissist because he's not the worst. He's not out here screaming in public and getting abusive. But just because he's not doing that doesn't mean he's overall a decent man. Emotional availability is still harm. A willingness to neglect your emotions and invalidate you is still harm. Flakiness is still harm. Disappearance is still harm. You don't have to be abusive to be a bad person.
Let's talk about divorce, because I've been hearing conversations recently about men who say that their wife asking for divorce just comes out of nowhere, or they were totally blindsided. No. You maybe weren't paying attention, which is part of what likely led to your divorce. Okay? So many women out here are married single mothers. So there's a trend, like, let's just be a single mother then, because at least then I know I'm doing it on my own. And I already can see it, the misogynist in my comments saying, oh no, well, my wife did this and my wife did that. Sure, okay, whatever. But if your partner is so unhappy that they decide to divorce you and you say you're blindsided by it, there's no, Bobby.
In my second year of sobriety, I faced my biggest challenge ever, and probably that I ever have since being sober. In my second year sobriety, my wife came up to me and she gave me a call, told me to meet her at her sister's house, my sister-in-law's house, and she told me she wanted a divorce. And I was kind of thrown back, shocked at first, and she gave me all the reasons why she wanted a divorce. And I listened to everything she had to say, and after a talk for like 25 minutes, she said, it's not going to be immediate. We're going to find you a place to live. We have a special needs son who's in a wheelchair, and that's supposed to be has wheelchair accessibility. And I know she didn't, make this decision hastily or like off the cuff. This was something she was thinking about for a long time, and she was just waiting for the right time. I believe she loves me enough to wait till I had a better footing in my sobriety to be able to handle the situation. She's always looked out for me like that. And her reasonings were, even though I was sober, which was great, I still wasn't changing with helping out more with the kids. I wasn't helping out with her. I wasn't helping out the stuff around the house. I was just sober. And she still felt like a single mom. And she was able to validate every one of those points. And after that conversation, she got out of the car, she went back into my sister-in-law's house. And I actually came to this parking lot. I immediately started isolating. This same parking lot, I'm making this video, this exact same spot. And I remember just sitting here for hours and then crying that the person I love the most, I'm not going to be with anymore. And it was 3 straight days of just absolute crying. Just didn't know what I was going to do with myself. And on the 3rd day, I had an epiphany. I says, this isn't about me. Has to be all about her. I have to make this as easy as possible for her. She did not make this decision lightly. She made a decision that she had to break our family up because of my actions. And she held on as long as she could, but I still wasn't changing. So I decided at that moment that I was not going to give up on us or her. I was still going to fight for her, but I was not going to make it hard. I wasn't gonna beg for her to stay. I wasn't gonna beg for her to give me another chance to change. The only thing I said I was gonna do was I was gonna fight for us, make the changes, give her space, and continue doing the next right thing. And for the first time in my life, I thought of somebody else. It wasn't about me anymore. What I had to do was make sure she was as comfortable as possible in this transition, and decide to be the best co-parent I could ever be. I was going to be a model co-parent because that's what she deserved. She deserved peace in her life. And once I started recovering, she started recovering. And she had to relive through all the stuff through therapy that I put her through. So these are the situations I created. This just didn't come out of the blue. This is after years and years of my alcoholism, the verbal abuse, not being there. And even in sobriety, thinking me being sober was enough, and it wasn't. And she was absolutely right, it was not enough. I still hadn't changed, I was just sober. And for the first time in my life, I also realized, first time in my sobriety, that through this whole thing, I didn't think about picking up once. I didn't think about, going back to drinking. I didn't think about, what I do this for. I didn't think about that at all. And it didn't hit me till days after that. My only thoughts were, how am I going to make this as easy as possible as a transition on my wife? And I got to work. I got to, paying attention. I was doing things before she even asked me to do them. I fought for her. I fought for us. I started doing everything I was supposed to be doing. I didn't deserve a pat on the back. I just started doing what I was supposed to be doing. And here it is. I'm almost 6 years sober now. So that was almost 4 years ago. And my wife and I are on such better grounds. Our marriage has never been stronger because I had to make changes, and I had to take accountability, and I had to be able to take the criticism because she was right. I was not doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was just sober. I wasn't, and that's not what this life is about. I'm supposed to be useful, not important. And I was able to take everything she said and look at it and examine it, and she's absolutely right. And I had to be willing to make the changes. And I'm so blessed for my sobriety, and I take my sobriety very seriously, because not only does it save my life, it saved my marriage, it saved my family, it saved everything. And that's why I share this stuff, my personal stuff on here, because it's never over. Everyone's able to change. I did it, and if I could do it, anyone can do it. I hope this helped you in any way, and I hope you're all having a great day. Talk to you soon.
These are reasons men gave for leaving. When my father left my mother, before walking out the door, he looked at me and my sister and said, "I'm divorcing you two." My husband said, "You're not a woman if you can't conceive my son." So he left me, and he had a son by another woman. My kidneys began to fail when he said, "You used to be 100% of what I needed. Now there's only half of you left." I lost my job because of layoffs during the pandemic. When he left, he said, "You were just a paycheck." Before he left, he said, "I know you've been going to therapy and trying to get help, but you're just too damaged for me. I'm afraid you still want children, and I don't want that anymore." He left me for a woman who has children. I was in a major car accident and in the ICU for 5 months. When I finally got out, he had already moved in another woman. A week after my grandmother had passed away, he decided to leave me. When he said, "At least I don't have to pretend to love you anymore." Come on, y'all. After he got me pregnant, he said, "Don't put that kid under my name." I didn't. The father is unknown. I have career plans, and you and our son don't fit into those plans. A few weeks later, I realized he sold all of our stuff.
Okay, I want to talk about The Golden Bachelorette. If any of you are watching this, I have something to say about one particular person on that show and how insightful it is to the dynamic between men and women during divorce. So, if you're watching The Golden Bachelorette, I think this was the last episode or the one before. There's one guy, she goes on a one-on-one date with him, I forget his name, and he's talking about his divorce from his wife like 9 years before, right? And Joan, the Golden Bachelorette, she's like listening and asking him questions and everything. And he says, "It blindsided me." He says, "I woke up one morning and she said she wanted a divorce." And Joan was like, "Oh, what?" And acting all like sorry for him. And he's like, "Yeah, like it came out of nowhere and I had no idea it was coming and she totally blindsided me." And Joan didn't even ask any clarifying questions. She just was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so terrible." Look, come on. This is classic. The man always says, "I was totally blindsided by my wife asking me for a divorce out of the blue." But we know the reality is he wasn't listening to her. He wasn't paying attention to her. He wasn't prioritizing her. He was taking her for granted. She was probably doing everything around the house. She had probably been asking for change for years, and he wasn't registering. He wasn't paying attention. And so all of a sudden she's like, "I'm done." And now he's blindsided. And now he's on The Golden Bachelorette giving his sob story from 9 years before and getting Joan to be all sympathetic with him. Driving me nuts. Number one, I expect more from our Golden Bachelorette. Like, hold this guy's feet to the fire. Find out what really happened. Like, come on. Don't just feel sorry for him. And number two, like, these older men who get divorced, I'm guessing he hasn't done any work on himself in those 9 years. I'm guessing he hasn't gone to therapy. I'm guessing he's just looking for someone to fill that empty spot in his life. And she's the one in front of him, so that's the one he wants. Tell me what you think.
I finally signed the divorce papers today. Not because I wanted to. My wife wants a divorce. and we're only communicating through email now. Yeah, and it hurts. I'm not here to bash her. I'm owning my part. I'm looking myself in the mirror. Bruh, I failed in areas that mattered, as a husband, a lover, a friend. In this chapter in my life, man, I failed. But I also noticed that pain teaches, boy. Losses refocuses, and accountability transforms. I know this not my ending. Just learning lessons, man. If God blesses me with love again, I'm showing up the best version of myself, of me. If I ever get us another chance at love again, I'll be healed, disciplined, emotionally mature, stronger, wiser, more present, more intentional. Boy, this pain, boy, listen, fellas. I know this pain gonna build a better me, a better man, but fellas, do right. Do right. You don't want to go through this pain. Y'all stay authentic.
Oh my gosh, because yes, this is your fault. You chose to leave me. You chose to file for divorce papers. I didn't do that. You're blindsiding me right now. I thought we were working on things. I thought we had to figure it out. We talked about it, but nothing was ever set in stone. You didn't tell me that you were going to go file for divorce. You didn't tell me it was that bad. I mean, you may have asked me to do a couple things, but you really didn't ask me to do that many things. Like, why do you have to ask to begin with anyway? But I don't understand how you're breaking up this family. Sir, no one leaves a happy fucking home, okay? She's probably told you these things for years and you didn't listen to her, and now she's actually taking action and you have a fucking problem with it because you don't have the balls to take action. Well, no. I promise I will do whatever it is that you want. I know you've been waiting for me to do it, and I'll do it now. Now I finally understand what it is that you wanted me to do. You wanted me to help out with the kids. You wanted me to help take the kids to the appointments. You wanted me to help with homework. You wanted me to just give you hugs and kisses. You're blindsiding me. That's what they'll say.
Men will do literally anything but get a divorce.
This is 100% the truth, and I have a theory about why. By the way, I'm a California divorce lawyer, and I've been a divorce lawyer for over 10 years. Men's threshold for unhappiness is far higher than a woman's. I mean, our thresholds for everything are higher. I mean, look at your guy's apartment before you got married. And just like wives will typically be the first to say that the house is a mess, they'll also be the first to say that something's wrong in the marriage and something needs to change. That's why it's the wife who initiates the divorce the vast majority of the time. It's not because they don't want to fix the marriage. It's because they already tried while their husband is perfectly happy with the way things
with
are.
Somebody every day, bro. You're not gonna like them every day. You just not. You didn't for what's going on. You just not gonna enjoy them every single day, bro. It's gonna be a problem somewhere. You understand me? It's gonna be days you just gonna want to chill. You ain't gonna just want to be talking. Same thing on her end. It's days you ain't gonna want to do it. She ain't gonna want to do all that. She gonna want some peace and all that type of shit there. But in our generation, dog, they don't get that, bro. The moment they feel unhappy, they ready to get divorced. You understand me? Are you unhappy or are you out of love? You understand me? That's two totally different things. You understand me? Because I cannot like my wife. Don't mean I don't love you. Don't mean I'm not in love with you. You understand me? So a lot of us, dog, in this generation, that's why they get divorced.
Married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted.
This is a clip in which Steven Crowder is bemoaning the fact that women in Texas are able to get out of marriages when they choose to. Steven Crowder and other conservative men do not believe women should have the choice of whether they stay in marriages or not. No-fault divorce is what they're coming for after our reproductive rights. They don't want us to be able to get out. They want us to be stuck. That is including in physically bad marriages. No-fault divorce saves women's lives, but they don't care because they want us to be under their control and not have a right to self-determination, not just in terms of our bodies, but in terms of our relationships.
You never listen to me. How many times do I have to ask you to take out the trash that you promised and have me still own the mental load of it? I am listening. You're just overreacting. It's just taking out the trash. I just forgot. It feels like nothing ever changes. It doesn't matter how much of I own of this, you're still not going to own the mental load of it. Here we go again.
Communication isn't just words, it's behavior. If your actions dismiss her, it doesn't matter what you say. She's asking you to also take on the mental load, not just the physical labor of taking out the trash.
You don't ever ask how I feel anymore, even seem to care. I don't want to argue, so it's easier to just say nothing. Your silence says more than you think. Whatever.
Emotional security is a huge priority. When you shut down, she actually doesn't feel safe, and I know especially for Alyssa and I, she often feels alone, and I feel alone as well when she isn't talking.
I can't keep doing everything by myself. I work all day and actually make money. Isn't that enough? Just because I get paid less does not mean I don't hold together this home emotionally, cognitively, and sometimes even still physically. Why do you always make me the problem?
If you leave all the invisible labor to her and then get defensive when she speaks up, you're not being a partner. You're being a burden. Real change starts with responsibility, not just reacting to her. Hi, my name's Zach. I'm your favorite mental load coach as well as recovering man-child. Hi, Zach. I teach men to better understand invisible labor as well as improve their emotional literacy and fluency. Follow along if you want to break the cycle of not seeing invisible labor and not appreciating the value that's being put that you might not be able to see.
I decided to help out my wife while she was taking a break at the grocery store with our 4 kids. So I decided to just do this quick little clean. She's been saying lately that she's had a really tough time keeping the house up, so I thought this would be a nice little treat for her. As always, I like to just start out by picking up the things that are going to make the biggest difference the fastest. So usually for us in this house, that's clothes, blankets, dishes, trash, and then just getting up all the rest of the little stuff and making sure the toys are all in the toy room. Our kitchen seems to be the dumping ground. This counter, this like island, just if we don't clean it off and make sure it's completely clean every single day, stuff just starts piling up on there and we just have to like take the time and get it all cleaned off. The kids' room is usually a lot worse looking than it actually is. It's mostly just blankets, and then these dishes are literally the bane of our existence. We have 4 kids and we make everything from scratch, so even though we have a small sink, it's still a ton of dishes. So I wanted to make sure that when my wife came home, these were all done for her. If you like content like this, please give me a like and a share.